Hello, my creative friends. I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com, and I am here with the last day of celebrating StampNation's 4th birthday with our birthday bash. I'm going to be highlighting Simon Says Stamp as my sponsor today. They have a fabulous line of exclusive stamps and coordinating dies. So what I have here is the balloon bouquet die and the happy die. I'm going to start out with my die cutting. I did this on my Big Shot. I first cut out the balloons in basic black, and then I cut out the happy sentiment also in basic black cardstock from Stampin' Up. And I cut the balloons one more time with Tim Holtz Distress watercolor paper. These dies come out really easily. You can see I used a paper piercer to just poke out the little pieces that were stuck in there, but it was no effort at all. It worked really well. Here's my first tip to keep the balloon shapes in place while you're watercoloring. Just take a low tack adhesive like painter's tape or post-it note tape, or this is just some medical adhesive, and just tape the backs of the balloons. It's a really easy kind of a puzzle to put together, but I knew that as I was coloring I wouldn't know which little spot went to which balloon, so this just kind of kept it all in place, and it was easier for me to move around. Because it's removable, it will come off of that adhesive very easily when I'm done. I'm going to be watercoloring with my Distress inks. So what I do is I just squish the ink onto my craft mat. It's a non-porous surface. And then I take an aqua painter and a little cup filled with water. This cup came from Sally Beauty Supply. And I just wet down that balloon. You could squeeze the aqua painter, but I didn't want that much water coming out. I just wanted a little bit to get the ink flowing. The first color I used here was Squeeze Lemonade. I don't really have a lot of space to stay in the camera, so I'm just cleaning up with a baby wipe in between. My second color is Peacock Feathers. It's kind of a greenish, tealish blue. And as you can see, I'm going over the other balloons because balloons are transparent, so you'll be able to see the colors that are behind it and in front of it. My next color is Salty Ocean, which as you can see is a nice blue. Once I had those first colors in, I went back and added some more colors. So this is Peacock Feathers. I'm going over it again. And then I'm going to take that Squeeze Lemonade and pick up some more of that yellow and add it in. And then I'm going to a new color. This is Picked Raspberry. When I put it on top of the yellow, it turns kind of an orange. I love how these distress colors react with each other. Then I went in and added just a little bit more of each color to make it kind of darker, give it a little bit of shadow, because as these colors dry, as these inks dry, they will lighten. My last color is Seedless Preserves, a really yummy purple color. I wanted to show you how easy it's going to be to put this puzzle together. You just peel them out and stick them in. I left a little bit of white showing, and that is totally okay with me. If you want it to be fully covered, you could then at this point go back in and add a little more color. But it's just a very easy puzzle to put together. I'm going to create my own background. I have here a piece of 120-pound white cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. This is very brand new to me. I just love it. It's ultra thick. And I also am using the Surf Blue ink from Simon Says Stamp. I've got my little round blending tool from Ranger. Love it. And I'm just sponging on a light background. As you can see, it's a very, very light blue ink. And the color coming, or the light coming in from my window is making that color really washed out, but you'll see in the pictures it's not quite this light. You can always add more color when you're sponging and make it the depth that you want. After I was done with my sponging, I grabbed this stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. It's called Celebrate. And I'm going to use these little tiny dots. They're speckles that go on the balloon, but I thought it would add just a nice little confetti to my background. What I did was I grabbed the black silhouette shape or outline shape of the balloons, and I'm adding these dots around those balloons. I'm going to cut off the left side, about an inch off of this, but I'm going to use that piece later, so I went all the way to the edge. There we go. Cut off about 3/4 or 3/4 of an inch to an inch off of the side. This was the size of a standard card base. So now it's about 3.5, 3 3/4 by 5.5. It's not really an exact science on this particular card. I'm going to take the birthday sentiment, also from that stamp set, and I'm inking it up with VersaFine Black Onyx ink. It's my favorite ink because it is so dark black and it's super fine. It gets those super fine detailed stamps. However, it always smears on me. So to solve that, I sprinkle some clear embossing powder over it. Mine is from Stampin' Up. And then I heat set it with my heat tool. And this prevents any type of smearing. It also adds a little bit of shine and just a slight amount of texture to my cards. I just love it. We are almost done. Now it's just time to assemble this card and bring all the pieces together. I have here some snail adhesive from Stampin' Up. I'm going to adhere my panel to the right side of my card base. It's just a standard card base, 4 1/4 by 5.5 once it's folded. For me, a great card comes in the little details. So here's a little detail I'm adding to my card. I've got this super thin washi tape from Little Bee. It's a black and white stripe, and I'm just adding it down the side of my card. This adds just a little pop to the card, but it also covers up that line where the cardstock ends. I'm using Tombow Mono Multi Glue to just add little dots of glue to the back of my sentiment, and then I'll adhere that to the front of my card on the angle. I'm going to bring back this medical tape that I've been using. Again, you could use a Post-it note tape or any low tack tape, or you could just skip this part and adhere it directly onto your card. I just placed it on the back of my outline, and then I'm taking some sharp scissors and cutting around so that none of this tape will show out the back, because I'm actually leaving this on the card. It's puzzle time. This reminds me of when my kids were little and in preschool or that age group, and we put together those little wooden puzzles. It's pretty easy. Just match it up to where you had it before. I put in the big pieces first. That really does help. And then I fill in with the littler pieces. There's really only one way it can go together, so that makes it easy too. The purple balloon that's all by itself is going to be popped up. I just took one of these Stampin' Dimensionals from Stampin' Up, and then I took one of those side pieces that's already a half piece, and then I cut it in half again so that it would fit at the bottom and kind of overlap both the balloon and the outline. You could pop up all of your balloons, but I only wanted a couple of them popped just at the top. So again, I used some of those little half dimensionals and added them to the top of the 2 balloons that are sticking up the highest. Then I took some more Tombow Mono Multi Glue and I put adhesive over the rest. I'm just gently putting that in place because when I add the purple balloon, you'll see right here, I need to lift that up just a little bit to slide the string under. And that makes it look like it almost was that way all the way along. And that completes card number 1 for today. Thank you so much, Simon Says Stamp, for sponsoring Stamp Nation's 4th birthday bash. If you're a Stamp Nation member, remember you have another week to get your card made and posted over in the forums for your chance to win one of the gifts being given away by our sponsors. Here is a second card that I've made. It's going up, the video for it's going up later today over at Stamp Nation. If you like my cards, be sure and click the like button. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on my blog, just scroll down to see links to the product I used today. And if you are watching on YouTube, you can just look in the doobly-doo down below, and I will have a link to today's blog post. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you find some time to get creative. Bye!